Chaos erupted in America's political landscape when Charlie Kirk was gunned down during a public appearance, and now the narrative surrounding his assassination has begun to unravel in ways no one expected. What seemed at first like an open-and-shut case against a young man named Tyler Robinson has instead ignited a storm of new evidence, leaked reports, and online investigations that raise a chilling possibility. The wrong man may be facing the weight of justice, while the real shooter remains free. This controversy has not only thrown the legal system into sharp focus, but has also turned social media into a parallel courtroom where public opinion is shaping the debate as much as the evidence itself. Subscribe for more updates as we break down the full picture of this case. Tyler Robinson was thrust into the spotlight almost immediately after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Authorities painted him as the rooftop sniper who pulled the trigger during a high-profile speech at Utah Valley University, a narrative that spread rapidly across news networks. Prosecutors presented what they claimed was a strong case: DNA traces linking Robinson to a weapon, a high-powered rifle discovered nearby, a handwritten note expressing anger at political figures, and text messages they alleged amounted to a confession. On the surface, this evidence seemed compelling, enough to convince many that justice was already within reach. Yet as soon as the details were released, cracks began to appear. The DNA results were partial and did not establish exclusive contact with the weapon. The note raised questions about authorship and authenticity. And the text messages, though troubling in tone, lacked clear proof that Robinson was describing the act itself rather than venting frustrations. What first looked like undeniable proof now appears to demand closer scrutiny. The trial by media didn't stop at official evidence. Social media users across platforms began dissecting the case, comparing timelines, mapping surveillance footage, and cross-referencing eyewitness reports. This online swarm of amateur sleuths identified glaring inconsistencies. Videos from the scene showed shadows and angles that didn't match the claimed sniper position, while witness testimony conflicted about where shots originated. Some even pointed out that the alleged trajectory of the bullets didn't align with Robinson's supposed rooftop perch. These contradictions gained traction quickly, casting doubt on the official narrative and fueling suspicion that investigators may have reached a conclusion too quickly. Perhaps the most striking revelation came from independent analysts who examined Robinson's phone data. GPS records and cell tower pings reportedly placed him miles away from a university during the exact window of the shooting. If validated, this information could demolish the prosecution's case entirely, suggesting that Robinson simply could not have been at the scene in time. Digital footprints are notoriously difficult to falsify without significant resources, which only raises further concerns about how such a key detail might have been overlooked, ignored, or downplayed in court filings. These discrepancies set the stage for a wider cultural phenomenon: the viral explosion of debates surrounding Robinson's alleged guilt. On Reddit, Twitter, and YouTube, users dissected every scrap of information, creating timelines, posting frame-by-frame analyses of footage, and even crowdsourcing translations of technical documents. Hashtags like #FreeTyler and #JusticeForTyler began trending, with some users comparing his case to past wrongful convictions where public pressure eventually revealed the truth. Others argued that the very intensity of the online debate risked spreading misinformation and complicating the trial further. Still, the undeniable reality is that millions of people were now invested in the outcome, and the traditional boundaries between courtroom deliberation and public opinion had all but vanished. The fire only grew hotter when a leaked internal report surfaced. This document suggested that investigators had identified another potential suspect early on, someone with a clearer motive and stronger circumstantial evidence against them. Yet, curiously, this suspect's name disappeared from subsequent filings, and no explanation was ever offered as to why the lead went cold. For many, this revelation felt like the missing puzzle piece, proof that the investigation may have been steered in a particular direction from the start. Why was this alternate line of inquiry abandoned? Did political pressure or institutional bias play a role? Without clear answers, the leak intensified public distrust. Equally troubling is that this alleged alternate suspect has vanished from official records altogether. No updates, no clarifications, no acknowledgement from authorities. This absence is fueling speculation that the case may not be about solving a crime, but about preserving a narrative. For Robinson, it means fighting against both the weight of the legal system and the silence surrounding evidence that could exonerate him. For the public, it means grappling with the possibility that the system meant to protect them is instead withholding truths. The online movement in Robinson's defense is more than just noise. It has become a political and cultural force. As hashtags surged, petitions circulated, and protests formed outside courthouses, pressure on legal institutions mounted. Influencers, journalists, and even legal scholars weighed in, warning that if the prosecution proceeds without addressing these growing doubts, the case risks collapsing under the scrutiny of both the courtroom and the court of public opinion. Meanwhile, legal experts have started to frame the situation as fertile ground for appeals or even a full reopening of the case. They point to the leaked report, the GPS evidence, and the mishandled witness accounts as grounds for challenging not just the verdict but the integrity of the entire investigation. Some argue that allowing the case to proceed under these conditions could set a dangerous precedent where questionable evidence is enough to convict someone of one of the most serious crimes imaginable. As all of this unfolds, a darker realization hangs over the nation. If Robinson is not the shooter, then the true assassin is still at large. That chilling possibility casts a long shadow over both the security of public figures and the trust of citizens in the institutions sworn to protect them. Every unanswered question, every sealed document, and every piece of contradictory evidence adds to a growing sense that the full truth has yet to surface. In the end, the assassination of Charlie Kirk has become more than just a criminal case. It is a mirror reflecting America's fragile trust in its systems of justice and governance. The questions raised here reach beyond one man's guilt or innocence. They speak to whether citizens can believe in the fairness and transparency of those in power. Tyler Robinson's fate will be decided in a courtroom, but the verdict's impact will echo in the public conscience, shaping debates about accountability, justice, and truth for years to come. The story of Charlie Kirk's assassination now hangs in a balance of unanswered questions and growing doubts, demanding vigilance from the public and integrity from those in power. For ongoing updates on this unfolding case, don't forget to subscribe.